Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the relatively uncommon ground rock type Pokemon Rhyhorn, the Spikes Pokémon, its uncommon evolution Rhydon, and its exceptionally rare final evolution Rhyperior, the latter of which are collectively known as the Drill Pokémon. Though lacking in the way of special defenses and offenses, the members of the Rhyhorn family are fearsome beasts that can easily trample all that dare to stand in the way of their imposing physical power. Rhyhorn stand on 4 short, stumpy legs with 2 toe claws each, and although sturdy, Rhyhorn's mobility is hampered by their short size, making it difficult for these creatures to turn while they are moving at high speeds. Their body is covered in a series of thick, gray armored hide plates that interlock with each other to provide an outer suit of armor, with 4 plates loosely fitted together on each side for the sake of mobility, and a central body plate that extends from their back end all the way to their front, terminating at their neckline. Their head is equally armored with the same material, possessing a bowed crest along the top of the head, and a small central horn above their nose and in front of their small red eyes, which is longer in males than in females, additionally possessing a distinct pair of small fangs that jut outwards from their upper jaw outside of their mouth. Rhydon do not possess the same style of armor on their bodies, instead having a fairly simple but incredibly thick and durable gray hide, with a brown ribbed belly, a thicker segment of armor protecting their upper chest, shoulders, and neck region, and a series of spines that run along their back. They now possess a long, flexible tail that is strong enough to topple structures in a single swing and create massive waves in water with a strong swing, allowing them to learn moves like Surf via HM or TM, and they are no longer quadrupedal, instead standing on their 2-toed feet and being free to use their 3-clawed hands to deliver devastating blows in close quarters. Their head structure is vaguely similar to Rhyhorn, with a pair of partial crests near the back of their head on both sides, while their ears are now quite prominent and stand up straight from their head. Their eyes and teeth remain the same as in Rhyhorn, but they have a secondary sharp crest that extends from the top of their head towards the front, and their primary horn has now become an organic drill that can rotate at high speeds in order to utilize devastating attacks like Horn Drill with incredible effectiveness. Rhyperior possess a radically different form compared to Rhydon, as their body is much thicker and barrel-like in shape, with dark brown hide and patches of raised, thickened hide material that are bright orange in color that serve to deter all but the most devastating of physical strikes, covering their belly region, lower torso, upper back, shoulders, elbows, knees, eyebrows, and head region, the places where they are likely to be demobilized or critically injured if struck with extreme force without said protection. There is a collar of ribbed hide material of a light brown color just visible at the neckline to provide space for them to expand their chest to breathe, and in addition to their secondary crest becoming a horn of its own, their primary drill horn has grown considerably in length. Their tail has thinned slightly near their posterior and has developed a large knob at the end, perfect for crushing opponents, and their arms have transformed into literal cannons, with highly extended elbows for gas storage and compression, and 3-fingered hands that have changed form, becoming fairly linear and having a hole in the palm, which can be used to insert projectiles for firing at a distance. More of their teeth have started to grow outside of their upper jaw, and though their eyes have not changed color, their visage as a whole has become far more terrifying and befitting of such a monstrous creature. The members of the Rhyhorn family are infamous for a number of reasons, chief among them being their incredible physical power and their unfortunately low place on the intelligence scale. While it might be a bit difficult to tell from their armored forms, these creatures are in fact mammals, which in their case actually aids them, as it means that the armor covering their body is not their primary layer of skin, but instead a secondary hide that grows on top of their skin to grant it extra strength and protection against damage. On the one hand, in combination with their strong bones, which are 1,000 times harder than human bones, this grants them incredible physical defenses for a mammalian Pokemon, and it acts as an attractor and instant ground if they are struck with an electrical attack. But on the other hand, the physical structure of the hide makes it highly susceptible to breaking down when attacked with water and plant-based elemental energy, among other things, effectively making them ground rock types by definition. Even so, This incredible defensive power is so great that these creatures can strike objects at full force and not feel pain for a while. In the case of Rhyhorn, it can take anywhere from 10 seconds to 24 hours for them to feel pain after taking a fairly nasty blow. And when they evolve into Rhydon and then Rhyperior, they become increasingly insensitive to pain and can even be struck with a cannonball fired at high speed and not feel a thing. In addition, their hide acts as a powerful heat shield against extreme heat, with Rhydon being able to move through lava as hot as 3600 degrees Fahrenheit, and Rhyperior being strong enough to withstand the heat and concussive force of volcanic explosions without feeling much of anything. Sadly, all of this tolerance means that they unfortunately don't have an easy way of telling when they are seriously hurt, which can make it difficult to take care of them. Training them is further hampered by the fact that these creatures are not exactly that intelligent. This is especially the case with Rhyhorn, as while they are incredibly powerful and can make great beasts of burden for work, they are incredibly unintelligent. Their short-term memory is particularly bad, and the rate at which they learn is atrociously slow, so they are rarely used for commercial purposes. In evolving though, and becoming bipedal, similar to how humans developed, the brains of these creatures increase substantially in size, and they become intelligent enough to actually work with, though their short-term memory still suffers somewhat. This is further rectified when they evolve into Rhyperior, at which point they become intelligent enough to utilize complex strategies with, and are thus easier to work with in a combat scenario. With that said, in looking at their abilities, the thick hide they possess with all of its elemental properties enables all members of the family to possess the Lightning Rod ability as a base ability, with Rhyhorn and Rhydon further getting access to Rock Head as another base ability, and Rhyperior getting Solid Rock in its place as a result of their enhanced, reinforced hide. In addition, their cantankerous nature can grant them access to Reckless as a hidden ability, allowing them to make the most of attacks like Takedown. In terms of stats, both Rhydon and Rhyperior have powerful stats, with Rhyperior only being a slight statistical improvement over Rhydon. With that said, while these creatures have weak below-average base special attack, special defense, and speed stats for fully evolved ground and rock-type Pokémon, their base HP, attack, and defense stats are all well above average, and they further have the highest base HP and attack stats out of all non-legendary ground-type Pokémon, not counting Mega Evolutions, making them incredibly dangerous and destructive creatures to have to go up against. While Rhyhorn might only be the lowest stage of evolution in their family, they are still not to be trifled with, as they are incredibly powerful and can send a trailer flying and plow right through buildings with a single powerful charging attack. Charging serves as their primary means of attacking others, and these creatures are certainly gifted at it, as they can and will demolish mostly anything that gets in their way, and rarely ever care to move their trajectory, though this is not entirely their fault, as their short legs make it very difficult to turn, forcing them to only be able to charge in a straight line. This wouldn't be such a problem if it were not also for their poor short-term memory, as they will often forget why they started charging in the first place just seconds after starting, and even if they manage to hit something like a block of steel that holds them in their tracks, or otherwise successfully demolish something, there's only about a 43% chance they will be able to recall why they started charging in the first place. If nothing is present that fulfills these criteria, they will simply continue charging until they become tired and fall asleep. The fact that these monsters can smash through skyscrapers even at a young age makes them incredibly dangerous in this context, and having slow metabolisms means that they rarely have to stop to eat, leaving more chances for them to charge at anything that irritates them and making them very difficult to train as a whole without a lot of care and patience. Evolution into Rhydon frees up the front appendages of these creatures and allows them to use their arms to deliver stronger attacks in close quarters, which is demonstrated by their immediate acquisition of the Hammer Arm attack after evolving, and a change in their EV yield from 1 in defense to 2 in attack. Aside from possessing a stronger and more rugged form as a whole, Rhydon are readily distinguished from Rhyhorn by the fact that their central horn has developed into a drill-like structure that can be rotated at high speeds to smash through sturdy boulders with ease, which Rhydon do to build nests in the sides of mountains. They may occasionally come across streams of magma in their construction, but as mentioned before, their hide is heat resistant enough to withstand extreme temperatures easily. This also grants them ready access to the devastating horn drill attack with a bit of artificial assistance, even though they can learn it on their own after some time, and their blows are strong enough to split apart uncut diamonds even if their drill is only spinning at a moderate speed. The secret to the motion of their drill is a complex series of muscles and compressed air chambers that push and pull the drill with tiny contractions, the compressed air chambers being opened to give the drill a push in a specific direction, one after another in rapid sequence, with enough space left between it and the muscles holding its base in place to allow its overall motion to work for it and spin freely in its socket without being slowed down too much by internal friction with the inside of their body. This can prove to be a devastating weapon, but there is a very unfortunate weakness in its biological design. Because of the metals contained in the drill horn that give it its grinding and cutting power, the horn tends to be an attractor of electricity, and while this normally would not affect these creatures at all, if the horn itself is struck with an extremely powerful burst of electricity, it's at risk of conducting it and transferring the power through its owner's body. This is a problem because there is a sensitive nerve cluster near the base of their horn that controls the motions of its surrounding muscle tissue, and if it is hit with a strong enough burst, it can overload it, effectively knocking Rhydon completely unconscious in the process from shock. As such, while they are normally immune to electric-type attacks, a pinpoint severe electrical strike to their horn can override this normal immunity, and is thus something that should be watched out for to make the most of Rhydon's immense power. Under normal circumstances, Rhydon are unable to evolve and represent the adult stage of their family, but they have a strange reaction with an item known as the Protector that can change this radically. The Protector item is effectively a shriveled piece of Rhydon hide that is still stiff and heavy, but now has exposed muscle flaps at the seams where the hide links together. These items usually have no use on their own, but if Rhydon are allowed to hold them and are exposed to the energy in a trading device, an abnormal interaction takes place in the matter-energy conversion phase that fuses the item with the creatures on a molecular level, altering their physical form and enabling them to evolve into the monstrous Rhyperior. Evolution only grants a minor boost to the stats of these creatures, not including their base speed stat as it doesn't change, but it does allow them to produce a minor venom in their bodies that leaks from their hands and in turn allows them to learn the poison jab attack, and a conductive plate forms near the base of their drill horn made from the same hide material that is fused to the outside of their body that redirects electrical charges from their exposed nerve cluster and in turn eliminates the horn's vulnerability to electrical strikes. Moreover, their ability to attack from afar is radically increased, for unlike Rhydon, the hands of these creatures have blunted claws and a large hole in the center of their palms. As it turns out, their entire arms have been converted into cannon-like structures in this evolutionary state, with their elbows being extended and converted into compressed gas cylinders, which Rhyperior can fill by inhaling and redirecting some of the inhaled air into their arms through a special organic tube that connects these chambers to their trachea and stored by tightly contracting muscles in their arms. By placing a rock into the palm of their hand with a full load of compressed air stored in their arm, these creatures can release the contracted muscles inside of their arms to release a massive volume of stored compressed air to launch inserted rocks like missiles at incredibly high velocities, which in turn enables these creatures to learn the devastating Rock Wrecker attack, a powerful move that is tied with Head Smash for being the most powerful rock-type attack accessible to a Pokemon. To make matters worse, in the wild, these creatures will rarely take the time to distinguish what it is they are putting into their palms to fire, and have been known to accidentally fire Geodude at targets, which rarely goes so well for the target when said Geodude starts beating on them in turn out of anger. This can effectively allow these creatures to strike at opponents from great distances away, and in turn means that no one is safe from getting completely obliterated by their incredible physical power. Though they can be difficult to tame and may take a long time and special equipment to reach a fully evolved state, the members of the Rhyhorn family are incredibly dangerous creatures that can easily decimate others with their physical strikes and rock-hard defenses. Training these beasts will likely require a great deal of patience and care on the part of the trainer, but the sheer amount of devastation these monsters can unleash more than makes them worthwhile to try out. If you want to keep your friends safe when in possession of one of these monsters though, make sure that you have your Pokemon practice its attacks far away from where they might be standing. Getting out of the way of a charging Rhyhorn or Rhydon might only be a matter of seeing or hearing them coming, but if you have a Rhyperior, there will likely be little to no warning of impending doom before a rock goes flying and ends up putting a hole through one of your friends, or worse, if they are standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
Yeah, no.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.